Bonjour, this is an attempt to make the longest possible level in Mario Maker 2. But to build up to this, there's a lot of explaining to do. I'll start with the simple things and add the surprisingly simple things one at a time. Yes, it's the same thing that Panga used, plus a lot more. Please note that I did not invent any of the parts of this level, or even the idea of combining them this way. I'm just the one who's crazy enough to actually build it. Starting from the very beginning, Nintendo lets us set the timer to 500 seconds, which is 8 minutes and 20 seconds. The first strategy to extend this time is lag. If we smush together a lot of springs and power-ups, the game slows down. The most we can place is 100 power-ups and 98 springs, because we need a burner to push the springs and a note block with a vine to make Mario move and scroll the screen at a constant rate together with everything above. When it's up to full power, this lag extends 1 in-game second into 11 seconds real-life time. The total time for this strategy is 1 hour 30 minutes. Each of these sections is too long for me to record and show. I'll put links in the description to partly extended videos, but still not the whole thing. Strategy 2 is more lag. As Steve taught us, we can spawn 100 things from blocks, keep them with us, then move over to where we placed 100 more things that are freestanding, not starting in blocks. In this case, we have 100 power-ups from blocks and 96 springs from blocks, because the burner and note block are on screen with us taking up 2 slots, and there are 2 one-ways that are far away but also taking up 2 slots. So in total, we have 200 power-ups and 194 springs smushed together. When it's up to full power, this lag extends 1 in-game second into 75 seconds real life. The total time for this strategy is 10 hours. There are a couple things you can tweak in the design, but regardless, this takes way too much space, time, and resources to set up in the level. We will need to put a lot more stuff in our level later on, so we need another option. All the way back in 2016, in Mario Maker 1, Chain Chomp Braden made this level, Trials of Time. Watch the game timer in the top right. It does not tick down while Mario is going through a door or pipe transition. We're gonna abuse this, but it takes a little work. P-switch timers also pause in door transitions, so the level activates a P-switch to make Mario stuck at the door with enemies coming at him dependent on the P-switch. So when Mario exits the door, a tiny bit of time, and P-switch time, passes, and he has to re-enter the door before the enemies hit him. Time freezes again during the transition, and we repeat this over and over again, until the P-switch finally ends and lets us move over to the next setup to do it all over again. This level has a total time of 2 hours 35 minutes, so I had always dismissed this idea before. But like Panga, I looked closely and realized we can improve on Braden's setup. Pipes give longer transitions than doors, and an up-facing pipe is the fastest to re-enter with the player holding down. We also block the other side of the pipe to extend the transition, same as Braden and Panga did. Here is the starting point for the improved pipe stall, and no, you can't hold left to escape the piranha. Next, we chain together a lot of them. This is close enough to Penga's setup that I won't re-explain it. Sieve actually tried and failed to do this in 2018. He couldn't chain them together and just put a huge RNG section after a few pipe stalls in his attempt to make the longest level. There is a slight delay that you have to wait before the next P-switch activates to re-enter the pipe. Since I had to allow some player reaction time between the P activating and the enemy hitting you, this means the time varies depending on when the player presses down again, so I had to take an average time in the middle as best as I can. More importantly, it also means you can't do this. Or at least you'd have to come back to it for each transition. One more problem. Pipe re-entries were patched at some point. There used to be a longer wait before you could re-enter, and my level is stuck using those old physics. That's why mine is weaker per each pipe stall than Penga's. The average time of one P-switch pipe stall in old physics extends 9 in-game seconds into 11 minutes 15 seconds real-life time. In the 500-second in-game timer, you can do 54 of these, so the total time for this strategy is over 10 hours real-life time. Nope, we're not there yet. There's still a long way to go. You may have seen a level that supposedly forces you to die and respawn from a checkpoint like this. Can't find anything in here, so you get the checkpoint, die, and respawn, which lets you progress. But Nintendo requires us to beat the level from the start to upload it, all in a single life. So there has to be a dev exit in order to, quote, force a death and respawn. No matter how well hidden or fancy the dev is, it has to exist, and it has to be reachable for players. Normally this ruins the idea, because players can use the dev too. But I factory reset my Switch to access version 1.0.0 of the game, so I can use a globally patched tech for the dev exit, and players will not be able to use it. The patched tech I chose is bouncing a super ball off the side of a P-switch without activating it. That's the dev exit with globally patched tech. So now the other path in this level is totally unchecked and lawless. Literally, you have no power here, Nintendo. Now I can force players, for real, to die and respawn from a checkpoint. So now we can make multiple lives of 500 seconds pipe stalling. Using 2 checkpoints, this gives 3 lives. The total time for this strategy is over 30 hours. You probably know where this is going next. Key coins. A standard, quote, infinite checkpoint setup lets us collect 1 key coin per life for a total of 10 lives. Yes, we can have a death and respawn as many times as we want, as long as the level forces it. The total time for this strategy is over 101 hours. Nope, we're getting close. Now we're going to force a key death and recollecting the coins for another 10 lives. You'd think we could just move the key door from sub to main world and cycle through again, but this creates two problems. First, you can choose to go through an empty slot for a key coin you already collected to change the pattern. Normally, in the first run through this level, you collect main coin 1, sub coin 1, main 2, sub 2, etc. But after the swap, you collect sub coin 2, main coin 2, sub 3, main 3, etc. This lets you reach the key door in life 11 instead of 20. We're going surprisingly simple to fix this cheese. As Fly taught us, key coins count to ELB, one of the playtime part limits, only while they're being collected, and we can build machines to control Mario's path based on this. We're going to force Mario to hit question blocks like this to move forward. If he collects a key coin while doing it, that stops a muncher from spawning from the block, and an on-off switch is hit. That's how we choose the paths. The second problem coming up is with key death. When the player collects the 10th coin and key the first time, they can choose to immediately die to respawn back where they came from, or get the next checkpoint and then die. For now, choosing the wrong one will hurt, not help you. You can make yourself do another run through the key coins. For now, we fixed this by putting an anti-key check on main coin 5, using RNG manipulation because it's the only method available here. The first time you go through main coin 5, you get the key and it kills you, eliminating the choice. The second time you go through main coin 5, it is not the last coin, so you don't get the key, so it lets you pass. The total time for this strategy is over 188 hours. The most we can make is 3 runs through the 10 key coins, starting from level start with 0 key coins, from main checkpoint with 0 key coins, and from sub checkpoint with 0 key coins. It gets harder to distinguish each run, and the anti-key check is not enough. We're actually going to do the opposite. Instead of killing Mario before he can collect the next checkpoint with the key, we force him to collect the next checkpoint with the key in run 1. To set this up, we force Mario to collect main coin 5 and sub coin 5 in life 1 of run 1, so that main coin 4 will be the last coin in run 1. Then from the start of the last life in run 1, from sub checkpoint, we have things on tracks kill Mario if he doesn't move forward quickly and go into a safe room under main coin 4. Remember, before Mario collects the coin and key, we can kill him as much as we want. We have to get him in there quickly so that players can't set up a timeout key death. Now that Mario is in the safe room under main coin 4, we use a bumper to safely force him to hit the question block and collect the coin. The on-off drops Mario into a Carl box that safely carries him over to the main checkpoint. Mario dies and starts run 2 from there. Mario will go through this ride again in runs 2 and 3, which is fine because it won't be the last coin, and he just moves on as normal. In the last life of Run 2, you collect main coin 5 and the key, and you have to choose to die before getting the next checkpoint. Otherwise, like before, you will make yourself redo a run through the key coins. An anti-key check would help here, but it breaks because we've already been in both worlds before the check. So you get main coin 5 and the key, choose to die, and respawn at the sub-checkpoint to start Run 3. Run 3 goes through everything as, quote, normal at this point and wins. The total time for this strategy is over 238 hours. Back in 2020, Symplectic made this level with 51 checkpoints. The new idea here is that we don't have to collect a key coin in every life. If we move things around in the level, we can have Mario spawn from the sub-checkpoint, go on a path to all 10 key coins, still only collect one at a time, then go through a pipe stall, get main checkpoint, die and respawn. Then from main checkpoint, Mario just goes through a pipe stall to get back to the sub-checkpoint again, without collecting any key coins. Most lives from the main checkpoint will be empty lives like this. Symplectic's design has 4 different cheeses to fix. First is the dev exit, which I've already changed to globally patched tech. Second is buffer jumps. You do a normal jump, press jump again a couple frames before you land, and that gives you a smaller than normal jump. This lets you move forward without hitting the question blocks. I've already fixed this with the spikes before the question blocks in my level. Third, there is a key death timeout cheese at the end of Run 1, which I've already covered. And fourth, another timeout cheese in the first life of Run 2, when the level expects you to get 2 checkpoints in one life again, which I removed. When I was starting, I actually had to write down everything in a spreadsheet to make sense of it. It becomes even harder to distinguish between the 3 runs now. Before, we used the pattern of collecting main coin 1, sub coin 1, main 2, sub 2, etc., or the reverse. But now that we go on a single path to all 10 key coins from sub checkpoint, it's the same every time. So we have to make more use of the first life of each run, where there is still a difference, and then in later lives of each run, check which coins were collected earlier to decide the paths. Now we are there. I also added some regular 8-minute softlocks that you have to avoid. 8 minutes is negligible here, but we're already maximizing evil beyond all reason, so why not? In Life 1 of Run 1, starting from level start, the on-off is set to off, and a P-switch is activated. Mario collects main coin 1 and goes up top. Mario is forced to kick a shell, and the path of the shell is set by the on-off NP to collect main coin 5. This makes main coin 4 be the last in Run 1, like before, and we use the safely forced checkpoint setup. In Life 2 of Runs 1 and 2, spawning from sub-checkpoint, Mario collects sub-coin 1, sets the on-off to off, does not activate a P-switch, goes over top, does not collect main coin 1, and the on-off drops you down to the second path to the sub-pipe stall. In Life 1 of Run 2, starting from main checkpoint, the on-off is set to on, and a P-switch is activated. Mario collects main coin 1 and goes up top. Mario is forced to kick a shell, and the path of the shell is set by the on-off NP to collect main coin 5 and 4. This makes main coin 3 be the last in Run 2, and you have to choose to die like before. In Life 1 of Run 3, starting from sub-checkpoint, the on-off is set to on, and a P-switch is not activated. Mario collects sub-coin 1, goes over top, collects main coin 1, and goes over top. Mario is forced to kick the shell again, but now, the P-switch being off, stops it from collecting any key coins. This makes main coin 5 be the last in Run 3. In most lives from the main checkpoint, the on-off is set to on, and a P-switch is activated. Mario does not collect main coin 1, and the P sends you down the first path to sub-pipe stall. In lives from the sub-checkpoint, which are after you've collected all 5 sub-coins and passed through to the main coins, the on-off is set to on, and a P-switch is not activated. Mario does not collect main coin 1, and moves forward to the rest of the main key coins. This is a total of 6 different paths, passing through main coin 1's slot and being detected. If you want, skip ahead to the last life, ending the level at this timestamp. Now for the last life. I can't make it go through the pipe stall, because you would also have access with the key in the last life of Run 2. Instead, I made normal lag with the resources I had left over. It takes over 15 minutes to get through. This lag stuff is being pushed onto an icicle so it stays globally loaded. If you want, skip ahead to the end of this section at this timestamp. And of course, there's one last bit of fun after everything. This jump is more lenient than Penga's, but you also can't sit on safe ground, lining yourself up to jump straight. Here, you have to commit to the jump first, then maneuver in the air. If you fail the jump, you have to repeat run 3. And it's finally over. I uploaded this briefly, pulled it up to save it in Wizulus's level viewer, and promptly deleted it. I guess I can do coordinated uploads, but I do not expect anyone to ask. This video is enough to show it off. Here are some things I wanted to add to this level and couldn't. First, I could try to rig a damage detector for failing the last jump to trigger a game crash. The 1025 objects crash seems like the best choice, because we can use on-off tracks to send the blaster to its teleport. But apparently, this doesn't work without the Spike Bro. I tried a bunch of different ways, and the game will chug and spawn block other objects, but no crash. The next choice is the Wiggler crash. We could force Mario to have a Shelmet, drop him in falling water, and have an on-off release the Wigglers. The problems here are, it requires Forest and an SMBU, both of which I can't or don't want to deal with in the rest of the level, and it's very inconsistent when not tightly controlled. I also tried trapping Mario into a Poo Stomp. Yes, 1.0.0 has both Poo Stomp itself and spinning with items, so it is possible, but it's also super inconsistent without the player going along with a fully auto setup, and we can only have 2 hatched Yoshis at a time, so the danger zone to force Mario into would be very small and hard to force anyway, so we can't crash, sadly. Next, you know how you can't have a clear condition with a checkpoint? There's a glitch for that. But the clear condition resets to 0 when you die and respawn, and you can only have 1 checkpoint with the glitch. If this worked, we could set a clear con to collect or kill all 999 of something, and let Mario get 1 clear con point after the final key door, then send you back to the main checkpoint to repeat runs 2 and 3 before getting another single clear con point. There are still more problems here. I'm out of doors and pipes, it takes more space than I have, it's hard to allow the dev route, and only the dev route, to collect all 999 of them in a single life in order to upload. I'm not sure exactly how much adjusting it would take, but it would still be a huge chunk of time multiplied by 999, and it would put the total time into years. The last big question is, why? For science, to push the game to its limits. I'm just one of those people who have a fascination with making the worst levels possible. But again, I have already deleted this level. The video and the data in Wizulus are all that remain. I try to atone for my sins of making levels like this by playing for Team 0%. So that's the end of this madness. Au revoir.